John. John Jungkook is 26-year-old CEO of Jun Corporation, daily called by a hot stranger. He calls him Tiger Hangi while he calls Jungkook Love. Kim Tae-hing, 28-year-old CEO of Kim Group of Industries and Mafia boss. So what do you think, Mr. Lee? Jungkook said, forwarding the agreement towards Mr. Lee, who was standing opposite to him. What's the need to bring a thing like agreement between us? Mr. Lee said, sliding back the agreement to Jungkook. I don't understand, Mr. Lee. Jungkook said, confused. Mr. Lee chuckled and stood up and walked near Jungkook and stand up with the support of a table which was present between both chairs. You don't understand many things, Mr. Jung. Like love. Mr. Lee said, now smiling at Jungkook. Love? Jungkook chuckled. We are here to talk about business, Mr. Lee. Jungkook said, giving the agreement file to his assistant. But life is not all about business. Sometimes we need break from all these and relax a little. Mr. Lee said, playing with the paperweight placed on the table. As you can see, my office is definitely not for your relaxing. So you should find a place where you can live your life. Jungkook said, leaning on the chair like a king, which he is, and looking at Mr. Lee as if looking at some non-worthy human. Mr. Lee chuckled and placed the paperweight back at its place. That's not how you should talk with your soon-to-be fiancé, Jungkook. Just as Mr. Lee said, the whole office echoed with a cold laughter at Jungkook. I never thought a business also believed on Delulu's the Solulu. Jungkook said, trying to control his life. Jungkook, you? Mr. Lee shouted but was cut off by Jungkook. Mr. John, Mr. Lee, and door is that way, and I hope you remember both when you meet next time, which I wish we don't. Jungkook said, pointing towards her door, completely not minding the fuming male. Mr. Lee glared at Jungkook and took his bag before leaving this joint corporation. A-hole, Jungkook muttered as soon as Mr. Lee left. Sir, banana milk? Jungkook's personal assistant, Miss Ree, asked after keeping the agreement file in the cabinet present inside Jungkook's office. Yes, please. Jungkook said, smiling at his PA, who smiled back and bowed before leaving the office to get banana milk. After a few minutes, Jungkook took banana milk from Miss Ree and picked up his office bag to leave to home. Jungkook was sitting in the backseat of his car sipping banana milk while driver was driving him back to John Mansion when his phone rang. Jungkook glanced at the name flashing on it and pouted angrily, still continuing sipping the banana milk. Hashtag parodies. He picked up the phone and placed it on his ear without saying a word. Angry love? A very deep voice came from it, making Jungkook's heart flutter, but he keeps his face straight and continues sipping his banana milk. I am sorry that I didn't call you since yesterday. It was important business, love. Same was repeated. Jungkook silently emptied his banana milk before keeping the empty bottle aside to throw in the bin later. More important than me? Jungkook asked, sulking. Of course not, love. It just came up so suddenly that I forgot. The deep voice was interrupted by an angry bunny who was raged after hearing the explanation. Me? You forgot me? Here people are using cheap tricks to be with me, but the person who should actually be with me forgot me. Wow. Who dared to use cheap tricks on my love? Same deep voice, but this time it was not soft like other times. It was like as if the person is forcing himself to be calm. But Jungkook was so angry that he didn't notice it and shouted a little no one before ending the call and switching off his phone. Just after Jungkook switched off his phone, he noticed that he has reached Jeon Mansion. He thanked the driver who smiled at him and went to his room walking like a furious bunny. He denied the cook who was ready to serve the dinner and angrily left to his room. How dare he? First that Lee and then this idiot. I'm going to punch him when I see him. How dare he forget me? I agree that he is handsome as hell, but I am also Jeon Jungkook, the sexiest man ever. People are dying to get a glimpse of me and him. Jungkook said, taking off his suit and wearing a comfy PJ. I will never talk to him, Jungkook said, turning on his phone to see Twenty missed call from the hot stranger. Jungkook first changed the name from hot stranger to I don't know him. Jungkook thought to block the number, but wouldn't it be too tough punishment for his hangy? So he decided to settle on less and will call his tiger hangy next morning and place his phone on the sad table before sliding on his comfy bed to get some sleep. He must have acted strong, but when all your hard work goes in vain just because other person decide to act like some shit, hurts. But after talking with his hangy, he was calm but still angry. How dare he forget his bunny? After a tiring day of preparing agreement and files, just for Mr. to act like shit, hurts. And that to dealing all this without his tiger hangy's talk or energy boost or flirt, turned out so much for Jungkook to handle in a single day. Jungkook drifted into a deep sleep just as he closed his eyes, completely unaware of the storm he created in someone's life. Next morning, Jungkook stirred in his sleep when sunrays directly fall on his closed eyes. He turned his head in another direction and snuggled in his pillow while hiding his face. Jungkook was about to sleep when he felt something hard under his hand. His pillow? Hard? He roamed his hand from left to right and realized that his pillow has become large, hard, and it also smelled so good. He snuggled more in it and started moving his hand from top to bottom. But his hand was stopped in midway, or we can say grabbed. Let me first ask your hand for marriage, love. These things can wait for later. A very deep and intoxicated voice filled Jungkook's ears, lulling him back to sleep. But the realization of someone else in his bed made his eyes open wide. He was about to shout when a hand was placed on his mouth, shutting him up. Before Jungkook could react to the sudden action, his both hands were pinned above his head on the pillow with the invader's single hand, and his legs were pressed down by the invader's legs in such a way that he was unable to move even a muscle. Jungkook stared at the ocean blue eyes which was staring back down at him. Jungkook was struggling to move a single muscle at least when the invaders attached his forehead with Jungkook's. Jungkook was shocked at such intimate stab because he can feel the invader's nose and lips attached with his even if he is wearing a mask. He can still feel the tingles spreading in his body. He was numbed to be exact. Seeing Jungkook turn into a living statue, the invader smiled under the mask and removed his hand from Jungkook's mouth to remove his mask. The invader removed his mask and fastly put his hand back on Jungkook's mouth because the way Jungkook's eyes went more wide and his mouth opened looked like he was about to scream till his vocal cords allow him to. There is still time left for you to scream like this, Invader said while smirking and again put his forehead on Jungkook but not touching with him anywhere else this time. On our bed, love, he whispered, staring intensely in Jungkook's black eyes which were looking like they were about to come out. After a few seconds, Invader left felt Jungkook's lips moving under his hand. He removed his hand from Jungkook's lips and from his hands too, and placed them beside Jungkook, still leaning on Jungkook. Jungkook's eyes shined, and with the right hand he pointed at the Invader. Tiger Haengi? It sounded more like a statement than a question, but the Invader still nodded in yes, reciprocating Jungkook's smile. Jungkook's shocked eyes turned soft and shiny with stars as if someone stole stars from the sky and locked into his eyes. The invader got lost in the eyes as if his existence was only meant for this moment. But those starry eyes slowly lose their shine and drown in self-realization. The invader notices the way hesitancy creeped in those beautiful eyes and the way his hands, which were raised to enclose his body, stopped and slowly dropped back. Invader looked at Jungkook questioning with his eyes that why he stopped, but he noticed the lowered eyes of Jungkook and smiled at his innocent bunny. Invader held Jungkook's chin with one and raised it up to look at the pouty bunny. What happened, love? He asked, now caressing Jungkook's cheeks, who was still lost as his eyes lowered. I'm sorry, Mr. Kim. I thought of you as someone else. Jungkook said in a small voice, keeping his eyes down the whole time. What if I'm exactly what you were thinking of me? Jungkook's house invader or Kim Tae or CEO of Kim Group of Industries or Underground Mafia was asked, which instantly made the bunny look at him directly in the eye as if questioning it is real or not. I'm the same person who you keep staring at last year's annual business party, things are innocently hiding his smirk looking at the stunned bunny, too shocked to react, and the same whom you discovered whole life in just few hours after coming from the party. Thing continued, still acting innocent while Jungkook's eyes were widened and his ears started to grow red in embarrassment and shyness. And the same tiger Hangi with whom you were talking from past 6 months, Thing said now softly smiling at the shocked bunny. When Jungkook heard Tang, he was shocked to be exact. Kim Tae was Jungkook's second crush, first we all know, and first romantic crush. Jungkook first time see Tae at a business party and that was his love at first sight. But he just named it a mere crush after discovering about Tae on the same night. Jungkook, a simple businessman, while Tae the mafia boss, he was sure that he wouldn't even know about his existence ever. But he never thought that during the same night the mafia was lost his heart at the party to a person who has stars captured in his doe eyes with the most cutest nose and the freaking adorable bunny smile. Haengi, my tiger Haengi, Jungkook asked with the same shining hope in his eyes, to which Thing nodded yes, smiling, and the next second he was engulfed in the tightest and most heartwarming hug someone could ever ask for. Jungkook snuggled in Thing's neck, sniffing a little while Thing patted his head softly, trying to calm the overwhelmed bunny. It feels surreal to be in your lover's arms, especially when he is your both love at first sight and first love. A little backstory idea. Kim Tae could be a mafia boss, but he wasn't ready to face Jungkook and express his feelings. He was scared, okay? So when Jungkook has made up his mind to forget his first love, now Taeyang started to planning to make Jungkook his. Plan was simple: call Jungkook with a private number, be friends with him, and then get to know what type of man he likes, and then get in front of Jungkook exactly like that. But he himself doesn't know when he forgot his plan, and just start enjoying those weird talks with Jungkook. They would talk for hours continuously at night, talking nonsense. Sometimes their talk would turn sensual and they would become each other's emotional support too. It was precious. While Jungkook was forgetting his infatuation for first time and learned how we actually like someone, Taeyang was falling deeper for Jungkook. But only if Jungkook knew that both were falling for the same person again but deeper. Back to present. Jungkook has already calmed down and slept again in Thing's arms. While Thing keeps staring at Jungkook, he knows he will have to explain Jungkook everything in the morning, which is not a big trouble. But when he has done what he has done with Mr. Lee, his cute innocent bunny will definitely be angry from him. But Lee deserved that for trying to steal what belonged to Kim Tae-hung. But that for later. Now he wants to keep his bunny in his arms and enjoy the precious moment. What both felt at first time was love too, but so weak. But now their talks and precious moments, where they learn to live with each other, will create a strong base for foundation for very strong bond of love.